So it did happen today. We lost Spirit Airlines. Man, this is very bad. This is just so you know, look, we made a lot of fun of Spirit Airlines, and a lot of it was warranted. I'm gonna do it tonight. But you should also be very aware that if people always love to play recession indicator. You know, people are always like, oh, you know, the price of cookies is up. That's a recession indicator. Or, oh, people aren't buying tickets to as many baseball games. That's a recession indicator. I'm not an economist. But I think a whole airline shutting down might be a recession indicator. This is very bad. They closed. Okay, so Spirit closed at 3 a.m. this morning. Everyone who I know has quit a job. Nobody I know has had their job quit at 3 a.m. It's just 3 in the morning and your job call you like, I'm not coming in today, so. That's what, so basically they shut down all the operations effective immediately. And when they said immediately, they meant like immediately means like while you're still in the air and you're landed. I'm thankful everything landed immediately, right? They shut down immediately. And the thing that's heartbreaking about this is that Spirit Airlines did have a lot of fairness to it. You know, we live in a world where there's an expectation around decorum, right? There's an expectation socially about what you can and cannot do based on the optics. And Spirit never cared about any of that. I'm sure some of them found out in the air. That's gotta be terrible. Like, it's one thing to find out you don't work where you work anymore. But to find out in the air has to be different. Because here's the thing, if you work for like a trucking company and they did you dirty, they went ahead and said, hey, we've dissolved as a company effective immediately. This isn't even a company. You won't even get paid your hourly rate. We'll pay you for the hour that we were still operating, but now into the future, you could just get out of the truck and be like, go find your own inventory then. If you... But it's a play. Like you at least, if I was Spirit, I would tell specifically air traffic control not to tell them anything until they landed. You know what I mean? Like imagine, because you can hear some of the like correspondence between air traffic control and some of the pilots even now. People landed. And air traffic control is like, sorry about what happened to you guys. And then you hear the pilot be like, what? No, it's not. It wouldn't be fair to put that on air traffic control. Their job is already hard enough. They would definitely let it slip. They got too many things to worry about. You know, Spirit Airlines fascinated me the entire time I was an airline, because I had to fly Spirit plenty of times. My career has been up and down. Oh, truly, sometimes you would fly Spirit and I'd be like, this seems like scam money. You know what I mean? Like I would show up, I'd be like, $59, are you sure? $59 for a round trip. Are you sure y'all using jet fuel? Because y'all gotta be using Crisco for these prices. There is no way y'all are burning jet fuel and I paid $59 with everyone else who was broke to get so far. I used to love those like viral videos of things that were happening on Spirit Airlines. Like, I don't know if y'all remember the possum. All right, I guess a bunch of y'all haven't seen this. Okay, so In the way that a lot of houses that are haunted usually have a bunch of activity in the basement or the attic, there's something about where they would put spirit in an airport. Let's just say Spirit never had prime real estate in the airport. You would actually get scanned through TSA and then go have to find the Spirit terminal and be like, it's in here, right? Like, be tucked away a little bit. And there was this one time, I don't even remember which airport it was, but there was the Spirit gates corner of the airport. And everybody heard this rumbling. You know, so people waiting to get on their flight and everything, and Spirit is telling them that their flight is late because it is always going to be late. And then from the ceiling, people were hearing. It's one thing to hear noises in a wall. A wall's already terrifying. You could be squirrels, could be a bird in there, nobody knows. The ceiling, if I hear noises above me, I have to leave. And then, out of nowhere, a couple tiles fall from the roof, and a possum falls out of the ceiling, holding on to one cord, trying to gain some leverage back. It's holding on like this. And in the end, because here's the thing, whenever there's a wild animal doing something where they're not supposed to, right? I experience this with rats in New York all the time. When you see rats on the tracks and there's a distance, there's like a barrier there where you can just watch them and it's not that big of a deal. When you see the possum hanging from what probably are some pretty important wires. I'm no electrician, but anytime I'm in a building and I see wires, I'm like, I bet they're supposed to be there. I bet you these wires do something. I don't think they just lay down extra for decoration inside the insulation. And so this possum is hanging on. He couldn't get the other leg up, so he's hanging like this. And people are recording and just watching, completely fascinated. Until finally, the possum can't hold on anymore, and he drops to the ground. As soon as he drops to the ground, pandemonium. It's so, like, as soon as he drops to the ground, chaos. As soon as the thing drops to the ground, first of all, it hit way harder than I thought. Possums must be much heavier than I thought they were. Even the possums I've encountered, I've been like, all right, it's nimble, so I always assume nimble is light. But this thing, it just slammed. I was surprised it didn't knock itself out because it slammed the ground. Everybody heard the thud, and then even the gate agents hopped the desk. They were like, ah! Imagine you late now. Flight taking off late. And people are calling, because they'll call the other airport. You know, people get in trouble when the flight's late for no reason. They call them, why is your flight late? Why haven't you departed yet? And now you got to explain that there's a possum wreaking havoc at gate 47. We don't know where he is right now, all right? He could be anywhere. He could be behind us right now. I even saw, there was video. It was a plane taking off. Pretty sure it was a Spirit plane that was taking off. And you know how they pull that wheel back in? You know what I mean? They all go up in the plane. And as they were pulling it back in, half the wheel fell off. It's the beginning of the flight. The flight just started. Or one of my favorites. When I saw it, I was like, I hope this isn't real. But it looked very real. There was a guy on a Spirit plane with duct tape. Just ripping the duct tape and putting it on the wing. Which, as someone who doesn't understand flying, seems like the most important part of the play. But I'm gonna miss Spirit for real. I'm gonna miss the fights. We all act like we didn't like to watch those fights. But it would inspire passionate debate between my friends and I on who was in the right, you know? Because some people see a fight video, but I see like, what is the best practice? Who's really right and wrong here? Because that's going to depend on who I'm rooting for in the fight. You know? You see, sometimes pastors would get into it. And I love that people on Spirit always manage to take something that should be a means of relaxation and turn it into a weapon. I remember I saw this dude get choked out with a neck pillow. And I was like, that never occurred to me. Yeah, I guess you are truly susceptible. Imagine choking somebody out with a neck pillow and then as soon as they pass out, just turn it back around. Oh, I don't even fully understand what happened when it comes to Spirit's downfall. I knew they filed for bankruptcy. In the first bankruptcy, I understood. When they first filed for bankruptcy, I was like, yeah, of course. The second time they filed for bankruptcy, I was like, y'all never got out of the first bankruptcy. I guess I don't understand how business works at all, because I thought that if you filed for bankruptcy, you were bankrupt. I didn't know you could go back to court and be like, oh no, we broke, bro. We need a whole second bankruptcy to go on top of this bankruptcy. Like, even when you play Monopoly, you're just out of the game. You don't have to now work for the game and file another bankruptcy and put down another mortgage on Park Place. Like, that's a wild thing. So they were bankrupt, and they were bankrupt, because I don't know what the chapters are. The chapters also feel fake to me. I know I don't understand business. I don't know what chapter 7, chapter 11, all that, but like the fact that in the book of bankruptcy, there are different chapters that mean different things, I'm like, nah. No, because I personally, I don't know if you've heard me talk about this before, but personally, I think that anything that works on like a micro level kind of works that same way on a macro level, unless you are using specific jargon to try to confuse me. Do you know what I mean? Like if something doesn't work between us as individuals, then it doesn't really make sense for it to work when it's a big company. Not really. If I lend you money, and then you spend my money, and then you're out of money, and then you tell me you're out of money, then you're out of money. Seems pretty straightforward. I don't really think you're not out of money because you go get a loan from somebody and you still haven't paid me back. Like that doesn't make sense to me. But once again, I understand business. Maybe this is all business. But they filed one chapter of bankruptcy and then they filed for the sequel. And then they were asking for a bailout from the government. Like now, like that was that. I mean, that's why they're closed. They wanted a bailout from the government now to tune of like, I think $500 million, which if you need $500 million and no one is trying to kill you, you're bad at business. This one thing, if somebody like trapped you in an alley and put a gun to your head, they were like, give me $500 million, I'll kill you. And then you were like, okay, just give me some time to get the money. It's like, you got 1 week. Now, okay, you need $500 million, but for a very good reason. But if you run a business and you are negative $500 million, I understand the margins are thin. I get that. I get that the margins on airlines are razor thin. But if you see 500 million on a piece of paper and all the letters and numbers are red, you might be worse at business than me. Like, I at least don't understand business. You supposedly do business. I've only ever been negative $24. I'm not saying I'm better at business than the people who are running Spirit, but I'm just saying on paper, I look fantastic. And then they even told the customers, they were like, listen, look. Because people talk to you different when they're broke. Like when they're broke, like when somebody broke, you get 9 looks before you get to the point. Like, look. Okay. All right. You get 5 eyes and 9 looks. When somebody, I know a lot of broke people. Honestly, by the 4th look, I'm like, you don't have it. Just tell me you don't have it. Don't waste my time. You don't have the money. But look. All right. Because that last eye is because they know you're starting to get mad. But they still haven't figured out what they're about to say. Look. All right. Look. Okay. I know you bought a ticket. And you did it the regular way where you were like, ooh, I'm gonna buy a ticket because I want to go to a place. And we were like, we go places. Buy a ticket with us. We go play where you want to go. Oh, I want to go Cancun. We love Cancun. We'll take you to Cancun. I know you bought a ticket because we were acting like and you got on the website and the website was working all good that day and everything. There was no buffering or anything. And your ticket came so fast. We were surprised too, right? So then. But look, I don't know how to tell you this. I don't know how to tell you. Okay, so you bought the ticket. I know you bought a ticket a while ago because you were trying to plan ahead because that's you. You a smart, good person. Also, when people are broke, they start to flatter you hard. Like, you a smart. No, you so smart. Sometimes I'll just be seeing you. I'll be like, look, smart, right? So you just, look, you're smart and you thought ahead and you bought the ticket and we sold you that ticket. We did do that. We did. We should take accountability. We did sell you what you bought from us. That was the model at the time. That was the plan. That, you want something, we would sell you something. You would get on the plane. That's a big part. You would get on the plane. And then that plane would be going to Cancun anyway, so you would just be riding with them. You'd be riding with everybody who wanted to go to Cancun, right? And then you would land in Cancun and you'd be like, oh, I'm in Cancun. You would have a great time. And then you would come back on the same or different, but you would come back with a bunch of other people who wanted to get back into the United States. And I hate, look, everything I'm telling you is what you expected, and that's reasonable because you did everything you were supposed to do. You paid the money, you bought the ticket, we used the money. But I hate to tell you, and I hate to be the one to tell you, I wanted to bring you good news today. I wanted us to just be able to chill and hang out and have a good time. But the second half of what you expected to happen, we closed. We closed, and I hate it too. You know what I mean? They not paying me to talk to you right now. We closed. And so you're gonna have to find a different way back with a different airline. I'm sorry, I hate it. Look, I hate it, but it's the way it shook out, Wish we would have merged with JetBlue when we had the chance, but didn't work out that way. So now you might have to stay. That's also the crazy thing is people bought the flights. And Spirit is like, look, we will refund all the methods of payment. You paid on credit card, debit card, we're gonna refund you that. You're gonna get it back, don't worry. Which you should definitely be worried. Like, this is this is one of the brokest companies to ever exist, apparently. This is This is how. Why would I not be worried? You said you had a plane. You said you had a plane that did flights and then you were a company, and now you're like, don't worry about your 150. You're gonna get that back, I promise you. That's the last lie a broke person tells you. The money you're not even thinking about right now. Like the situation is so dire, you're not even thinking about the extra money in the future, and they're like, oh, before you even worry, you gonna get that back, I promise you. How? You don't operate as a business. You told everybody not to come to work. They closed the call centers too. They closed the call center. Imagine you see an update on Twitter that Spirit is closed, and you're like, ooh, that's funny because I have a flight this morning and I didn't get an email. And so then you try to call Spirit. I'm sure there's at least 2 people that were still at the call center, and the phone's ringing, and you just see the boss be like, don't pick it up, don't pick it up. Imagine now, you pick up the phone, I told you not to pick up. Spirit Airlines. Hey, I'm hearing something about y'all are closed. Like, are y'all still operating as an airline? I'm not here. Don't. If they ask for the manager, don't hand me the phone. You the manager now. You the manager. You want to pick up the phones? You the manager. They didn't have the call centers, and they told people not to show up to work, so there was nobody at the gates. So if you did come to the airport, I don't even know. Maybe, look, I don't know because I wasn't at the airport this morning, but I wonder if you come to the airport and you got your ticket, I imagine you can still get through TSA because you're supposed to have a flight that day. And now you show up, you rock up to your gate. Nobody anywhere. There's like one possum in the corner. One possum in the corner chewing wires like. Ain't nobody coming. Man, dog, this is very bad. I don't even think we know yet. I can't even pretend to predict what happens next, but this is bad. And this one, Spirit already wasn't doing well. That is true. That is true that as a company, they weren't doing what companies do as far as successfully bringing in money. But the nail in the coffin is definitely this war. That's the price increase of fuel just did them in. Because when you're already broke, you can't afford for anything else to go wrong. You know, if you already struggling, and then they're like, oh, by the way, bread is $20 now, then that's a wrap, you know? And that's the thing that I think might get lost in all this, is that sure, Spirit was negotiating with the government for some sort of bailout or hopeful resolution, get a little bit more cash flow in and everything, but like the direct result of them going under is definitely these fuel prices caused by a war that we don't know why. We don't know why, or we don't know why, or if, or are we winning? Like this is one of the most confusing war. Look, I haven't been in many wars, all right? And I'm always saying I'm in it because I'm in the country. I'm not fighting in the war or anything. But this war, first of all, it started, and nobody was sure that it had started. When it started, we were like, don't you need Congress? And they were like, no, we don't need it. It's not war. Then, when it was clearly a war, when people had even started saying war out of nowhere with no regard for what it actually meant in terms of like how long you can have a conflict without the approval of Congress appropriating more funds and everything, then people were like, oh, but we're doing well, I think, or we're at least at a stalemate, maybe. And then you get to this week, which is the deadline for you to be in any conflict without Congress approval so that they can give you more funds to fight a war that you're winning. And so then, the president says that it's done. We're not doing war anymore. This is just, no. Which is weird because everyone's not back that you sent. Do you know what I mean? Like, I imagine if you are in the military and you're in Iran for a reason related to the war, not war that we're having, you see that the president has said all the operations are terminated, and you have the same amount of confusion as a Spirit Airlines employee. Like getting an email from the company. Uh-oh. And I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Like I don't really get it either, because this thing, I think it supposedly just sort of resets the clock in their minds. They're like, we're going to say that everything's terminated, but then next week, first thing on Monday, we're going to be like, they did something, we clearly have to respond, and they'll resume, and we'll just do a war, not war, 60 days at a time, I guess, until can we win? I don't really understand what the point is anymore, because my thing is, whenever you're in an actual fight, because once again, remember, micro, macro, right? What should work for you and I as individuals has to work, at least by logic, on some bigger level. You can't just mix it all up because it's a bigger idea. I understand it gets more complicated the bigger something gets, but like, if it doesn't make sense for you and I, it doesn't actually make sense in a bigger way. And any fight that I've been in, I was pretty aware I was in a fight. Do you know what I mean? I've never been tussling with somebody like, are we fighting? No, because when you're in a fight, it's very clear that the person trying to fight you is trying to fight you. And so then, I've never been in a fight where I was like, is it a fight? And then whenever I've been in a fight, I was very aware whether or not I was winning the fight. If I'm on the ground, I'm not doing great. That's never my plan, to be looking up from the ground in the middle of the fight. And I think I'm always aware, while in the fight, how to win the fight. Just punch balls. Like, you just punch. Look, you try to fight like a gentleman at first. Look, you do your best, but when you're clearly outclassed or he's bigger than you, you just give it a kick. You know what I mean? And I don't know if that's possible this time. We're at a war, and we're reaching a sort of choking point with our fuel. There's talk of if the strait stays closed, how hard it'll be on farmers for fertilizer, all these other supply chain issues and everything. And I don't know, like, you would think if you let the president tell it that any day now they'll be begging for us to end this war that we're not even in. But every day that he says that, every day that he posts how hard we're winning, they post a music video of Legos that really make it feel like we're not winning. The music video of Lego, I don't care if it's AI or not. If you got time to make a music video with Legos, you're not as down bad as the president is saying you are. This is... And I can't help but feel like Spirit is just like the first big domino. You know? Because what is gonna happen now? Now that you can't fly cross country for $2.50, what is gonna happen now? Truly, like I think that Spirit closes, and some of the other airlines are whatever worried about trying to take up some of that market share. But I think if you see Spirit close and you're Greyhound, like, all right, you have to teach these drivers how to box. I would love a Spirit Airlines fight, because usually the window seat is like prime real estate. Usually you want a window seat. I can just speak for myself. Like, some people have long legs, they want the aisle, or they know they're gonna have to get up and use the bathroom, they want the aisle. But I love a window seat. You know, you can just see right out the window. Beautiful. You can see the clouds, and as you take off, everything gets so small and everything. It's amazing. But on Spirit, at least from the videos I've seen and from some of the flights I've taken, if you were in a window seat, you boxed in. You don't want a window seat. You don't get to defend properly. Middle seat also bad, for all the reasons that a middle seat is bad, but also because now you actually have the worst vantage point to see the fight unless it's happening in front of you. Now you gotta stand all the way up and turn around. The ideal seat on Spirit Airlines flight is the aisle seat. It's the seat that you can easily get out of the way if the fight is coming towards you in one of those smoke cloud situations. Allows you to get up and give yourself some space from the fight. But man, there was one time I was watching this video. This pilot landed. He's coming on, talking to air traffic control, and he's like, just so you're aware, we will need police. There's some sort of fight in the cabin. It hasn't breached the cockpit yet, but I do hear some banging. I think that banging is incidental. I don't think they're trying to get to us. I think that someone is just being thrown against the cockpit door. So we will need police at the gate. And air traffic control came all smooth. They were like, copy. No follow-up questions. Just, yep, sounds about right. You are flying on a Friday. No, my favorite would be when the Spirit employees would have words with each other in front of you. You would just, normally the drama in a workplace is confined to the break room. You know, you'll be working somewhere, and then at lunchtime somebody comes in and they complain about the person who's been annoying them during their shift, and then they leave, and then that person comes in annoying the other person. You hear both sides of the story. Or sometimes if you have one of those office jobs that uses Slack, somebody will Slack you, she's so annoying. You know, but as Spirit, they really kept it real. There was one time I went up to the gate agent, and I don't know, I try to be too polite. I apologize for everything before I even start talking. Like, hey, I'm so sorry. I know, I was just wondering, because please, I'm sorry. Hello. Hello. I had a quick question for you. And basically, I just needed to change something on my ticket. Like, at the time, I didn't have a seat number, so I just needed a seat number. I was like, do I need to wait, like on some other airlines, or is this a mistake? Because it's printed, but there's no seat number. Can you get me a seat number? And she's like, oh, yeah, sure, fine. I got you. You're all good. And so she starts types my name in, types on the ticket, looking at the ticket, looking at the computer, look at me, just type. And then this other gate agent walks up and is like, hey, I was hoping to use this station when you're done. And the woman helping me took one step away from me as if I wouldn't hear her. And she said, I told you, if you ever speak to me again, I'm slamming your head against the keyboard. Now I see you talking to me. And right now I see teeth. But we could easily make that keyboard keys. It's up to you. And then the woman that she was talking to said, don't be mad, I took your man, right? And I was standing there like, they still have my ID, so. I would love to walk away, but guess I'll wait. No, there was nothing like Flying Spirit, because they truly kept it like as honest as possible. They did. Like, when you walked up and you were like, what's the problem? Because, sometimes the people who were flying Spirit and paid so little for their ticket also got the biggest attitude. And so they walk right up to the gate agent, no polite, no how you doing, no I'm sure you're busy, no sorry to bother you, nothing like that. Why in the plane here? I watched it. I'm on the same flight as them. I'm late too, but like, I don't know, if the plane's not here, we look out the window and the plane's not here, the plane's not here. What can we really do? And this woman walked up and she was like, why isn't the plane here? And the gate agent of Spirit Airlines said, why your eyebrows like that? Quick recap. The plane isn't here yet. We're delayed, obviously. This woman walks up to the gate agent. Why isn't the plane here yet? The gate agent, without, I'm assuming, thinking, without missing a beat, just, why your eyebrows like that? We all have questions. Go sit back down. When you look at Europe, if you've ever gone to Europe, you'll see that there's just a ridiculous amount of airlines and a ridiculous amount of spectrum in the prices. Like, there are so many, we talk about Spirit and stuff, but there are so many Spirit airlines of Europe. There's like 9. There's one time I was stuck in France because the airline, I'm not used to the airline being like, we don't know where the plane is. Because I was in France, right? And it was a connection. And so I had to connect. And when I get to France, I'm just in the airport. I was kind of blown away because there's so many airlines going through Paris, right? And so I was just looking at all of them, and then I noticed that that my flight had changed colors, and I was like, usually when things change to red, it's not good. So then I went up to talk to a gate agent, and the gate agent was like, oh, that's a mistake, don't worry, the plane is on the way. One of the things that's very important to remember when you're traveling, because sometimes people freak out prematurely because they're at the airport and they're just waiting to be screwed over, right? They're just like, the gate agent will say, have a nice day, you'll be like, what? Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, that's my bad. So sometimes when your flight is delayed, it's like a mechanical thing. Like it's just, hey, there's just a piece that we need to put back on because you want it to land, right? And then sometimes what's happening is that it's late from wherever it left because they're using the same plane all day. If you leave at like 6 a.m. and your plane's delayed by an hour, that plane delayed all day. Everyone for the rest of the day is screwed. Even after you leave this plane, the people who need this plane, they're gonna be like 2 hours late, right? And so I go up to the gate agent, I'm like, hey, can you tell me if this is canceled or not? She's like, no, the plane is on the way. And I was like, okay. And I go and I sit down. And then I notice like an hour later, it doesn't change from the red. So I go back up to the gate agent, I'm like, hey, is the plane on the way? And it's a different gate agent this time. And this person is like, oh, I don't know why they told you it was on the way. We don't know where it is. And in my head, I was like, I hope your English is just really bad. I think, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not in the U.S. I'm in your country. You're speaking English to me as a courtesy. I understand. But, like, you said you didn't know where the plane was, in which case it should be on the news. Like, that shouldn't be something that just I find out. That can't be a secret between us. That my plane is gone, but not, but maybe, I don't know. I was losing it. I was like, so wait, you can't find it. Is it in the air you can't find it? Or like, is it over water and you can't find it? And they're like, yeah, we don't know when the plane's gonna get here because we can't find it. And I was like, getting here is now not the issue. You can't find a plane. And then the plane does get there. The plane lands safely at the gate like it's supposed to. And so I'm so relieved for all the people deplaning. Like everybody is deplaning and I look like, you know like when a child like gets lost in the grocery store and they're just like wandering because they're just like, oh, what is mac and cheese? You know what I mean? Like they just get enamored with all of the second shelf stuff that they can actually reach, and they're just like, ooh, these are hard. What is this? It's just a bag of rice. It's like, what is this? And then their parents lose them. So their parents are freaking out. And then there'll even be an announcement in the grocery store like, hey, can you come? You know, your mom's looking for you. You know, and then the parent sees the child again. Like they finally link up, whether it's a store employee that finds the kid or they find the kid. And then the parent is like, like crying and just shaking. I can't imagine what it's like the first time you lose your kid. I say first because you gotta lose your kid. I don't feel like you're a real parent if you never lose your kid. Like if you've never lost your kid, you care too much. Like you gotta dial it back. If you have never lost your kid, I guarantee, I'm not your kid, but I can guarantee you right now, if you've never lost your kid, you are smothering them, okay? just to prove you're human, you gotta lose your kid at least for 2 minutes. At least, even if it's just a okay, there's it. Even that. But now you grabbing the kid and you ready to cry and you shaking and the kid's like, this is really not that serious. I was really just looking for the Fruit Loops. That's how I was to everyone that was deplaning. I was over here. They were just getting off, having a conversation, enjoying their day, and I was like, we're almost gone. And then they finished deplaning, and I'm standing there, ready to get on, and and then the gate agent sees me lighted up, and they're like, what are you doing? And I was like, because I bought this ticket that I didn't fully understand the ticket, but it said I was A1, and to me, A1 must mean I get on the plane first, right? And so I was just trying to line up, just be where I was supposed to be, and they were like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm A1, so I figured I would line up and everything. And they were like, the flight is canceled. I was like, what do you mean the flight's canceled? And they were like, yeah, don't you see the red on the board? It's sad to lose something like Spirit. Because everyone else, they're doing their best, but they don't bring that same energy. You need, in any industry, a clear bottom. And now what'll happen? Now this is rough. Cause who is it gonna be? Yeah. Everybody's got their complaints about every airline, don't get me wrong. But we're being honest. Maybe Frontier. Maybe Frontier. Southwest better watch out. Frontier and Southwest competing for next. I like Southwest, but you know what's funny about them is that they really try to slowly be one of the regular airlines. But every change they make, you teach people how to treat you, whether as a person or as a company. You teach people what they can and can't get away with in front of you. And so there are things that Delta might do with points on their cards. There's things that JetBlue might do as far as upgrades and everything. But they train you how to treat them. And for a long time, Southwest was that airline that gave you Spirit prices with American Airlines atmosphere. This stuff was cheap, but it felt like it was all part of a plan. Spirit would be cheap, but it'd be cheap in a way where you felt like through your ticket you were giving them gas money. No, everybody got a cousin that hits you up. Look, I need $12.50, all right? I need $12.50 till payday. You know I got you, okay? Southwest had this vibe that was like, look, we are trying to offer you the most reasonable price and the most comfortable experience for the regional airlines that were going to be able to fly you. So you didn't see a bunch of Southwest flights going everywhere, but you saw them going to plenty of places, offering some good service and everything. And then, I don't know if it was a new CEO taking over. I don't know if they were just feeling themselves, but they were like, we're going to eliminate the free check bag. And everybody with their full chest like, what'd you just say? No, I want to hear it again. What'd you just say? I know you must be out of your mind. You Southwest, all right? Don't come over here doing Delta, United, JetBlue stuff. You're Southwest. The only reason I fly you is for the check back. Oh, you gonna make me slap you. You gonna make me slap you. You bringing out a side of me I don't like. You stepping out of your place, Southwest. Got everybody lined up in the airport like it's snack time at school, and you want us to pay for check bags. You must be out of your mind, Southwest. Now boarding A 1 through 50. Who came up with this system? The only reason I didn't say anything is because you had the check bag. You got me standing next to people. You can't just call groups like everybody else. You gotta get us to stand up there because y'all don't have enough employees, don't have any organization. You know what you need to do is have the free check bag. Because now you don't have the free check bag. I'm starting to notice that your airline too. You over here too. I sit down, I press the button, I go, that's unacceptable now. If I'm paying check bag money, I need reclining money. The idea that you would say with your full chest, we're gonna start charging for bags like you're somebody. Like you gonna tell me what's about to happen. I'd be sweating if I was Southwest. Southwest seat already doesn't recline much. Like that's the beginning. That's if you know you about to have a fight on the plane where your seat go like that. No. Imagine I remember my first Spirit flight. I got on the plane and saw the button. I was like, okay. I thought it was a mistake. I was over here. Ooh, that's rough. That's rough. Because you even see tray table. That Spirit Airlines tray table was very specific. You couldn't fit much on it because it's in a flight made for you to be comfortable. I'm surprised that Spirit went out like this. I thought that surely they would be the first to sell flights with no seats. I was positive Spirit would sell you the flight and they'd be like, you don't have a seat. There's a handle like the bus. And you go, Captain, come on, there's gonna be some turbulence. Like, oh no! Now you over here holding on, doing the Tom Cruise from Mission Impossible. Nah, that is coming, by the way. They keep every 2 years, they tease these standing seats just to see how much we freak out. Because I remember when they first floated it, and it was just like a prototype look thing. I can't remember the airline that said they were gonna maybe implement it in 2026 or whatever, but this is way back in like 2019. And so it wasn't on the books yet as something that but people lost their minds so hard that I can't remember which airline it was, but they came out and they were like, we just y'all, April Fools. Y'all hate jokes. Oh my gosh. Y'all, everybody's so serious. Stop. We were all playing. Nobody's gonna make you stand up on the plane. That's crazy. It's not even safe, even though it would save a lot of money. It's not even like something that we've been considering, even though it would help us greatly. It just, y'all, honestly, y'all annoying sometimes, if I can be honest with you. And then in 2022, they came out with the same thing again. It might have been a different airline, might have been the same airline, but they came out again, and this time they actually had like a model that you could see. So the first time it was just like barely a sketch, and the next one was a model. And then we freaked out again. Like, if you were online at the time that this was happening, you were like in that corner of the internet that was freaking out about it, you saw people being like, so you were lying before, you were working on it, because now you look like you've been working on it harder. Now there's something to look at. Like, now I see where you would put my legs and everything. Like, this is crazy. And they again came out, they were like, y'all stop. Like, y'all like act like you never seen a model before. Like, we were playing, you know, even though it's ergonomic and it actually wouldn't be that uncomfortable if you wanted to try. We were joking. Stop. And then last year, there was like a news report about how they wanted to do this. And you even saw this like, I guess it was an animation of someone getting into the thing, and instead of it being a seat, it's like basically like a hook. It's like a roller coaster. Exactly. Like, you know what it is? It's the Batman from Six Flags. Now that I think about it. Yeah, no. It's exactly like the Batman from Six Flags, because it's like a roller coaster, got a little hook here, and then you go ahead and you straddle that hook. And you strap in. And then you fly. You flying. You flying the way that babies fly their mom's back when they, you know, when the mom has that baby backpack thing. It's exactly like that, but it's for you who paid $200. I don't know, it's coming. I thought Spirit would be the first one. That would have been great. In a dystopian future where that is flying, it being done with Spirit would have been dope. Because Spirit would have made it cool. They would have made it like entertaining. They would have made it like fun. You'd see the videos of people trying to fight, standing up next to each other, looking like toddlers. This is tough. It's a hard one to come to grips with, because you don't really appreciate what you got until it's gone. You know, I'm miss Spirit. Spirit was one of the only airlines that would really be honest with you. Like, real honesty. That's what these low fare airlines give you. Is some true insight into the situation. You'll see, even with, what was that, the miracle over Hudson and that Sully thing? Yeah, incredible. There's a reason they made a movie out of it. But I bet you he wasn't giving them a play-by-play as it was happening. Not on a Spirit flight. A Spirit flight, they're gonna be honest with you. They'll be like, look, captain's gonna come on. We out of fuel. We out of fuel, and look, I didn't do it. Hey. I I didn't do it, all right? I'm not the one that fuels the plane. I fly the plane, but we had a fuel, okay? And look. All right. I know that you bought a ticket to get on a plane to go to Cancun. I understand, and that's our fault. That's our fault because at the time you bought the ticket assuming we have enough fuel to get to the place, and that is fair that you would assume that. That makes perfect sense. That's because y'all are smart. You know, like there are sometimes you fly a plane full of people and they're not smart. Y'all are smart, and I'm gonna need everybody to fasten your seatbelts, and I need you to pull the seatbelt tighter than you ever pulled it before because we are about to go upside down, and you will feel it, all right? No, because a Spirit Airlines flight is gonna be full of honesty. Everybody would trash Spirit and would make fun of Spirit, but you know what was happening on Spirit? Everything that we wish would happen on all the other airlines. People would be on a Delta flight all the time, somebody acting crazy the whole flight, nobody says anything. Nobody would say anything. Like people genuinely losing their minds, nobody said anything. Not on Spirit. On Spirit, somebody would be like, hey! Stop being crazy. Hey, stop. Hey, you scaring everybody. Stop.
When
Please make a bunch of noise right now for my friend Josh Johnson!
I watch a lot of true crime documentaries and series and stuff, and I like to watch the ones that, as best as possible, don't involve murder, because genuinely I'll be like, oh, this is wild, but this is also very sad. So I like the ones where it's like a robbery. You know what I mean? I like when it's like a huge drug bust, something you can really sink your teeth into without being like, oh, there is a family to be sad for. You know what I mean? And what I love is the process of when the person is sure they're not going to talk. You know what I mean? They'll bring somebody in, and when the person gets brought in, some people really hang tough. Some people, door slams behind them. I've never been to jail, but I hear the doors are heavy. Door slams behind them. They actually get more tough. They sit in an interrogation like, what? I'm not gonna tell you nothing. You want something out of me? You got the wrong one, okay? And then there's other people, that door slams, and as soon as it slams, they're like, listen, I wasn't there, all right? It was Robert, it was Terry, Robert and Terry, it was their plan anyway. If anything, I'm an innocent bystander. I was just in the car. Y'all know when y'all arrested us, I was in the back seat. That's for a reason. I wasn't even the getaway driver. I thought we were going to McDonald's. There are some people who snitch so fast. Even the police can't write it down fast enough. Police are like, well, we got it on tape too, but yeah, this is too fast for the shorthand. Imagine you snitch so fast, you make a cop go, hold on. Take a breath. Because you never know who it's gonna be. There are some people who were, whether it was gang activity, is mob activity, there are people who are like the run of the litter, and they're the ones that actually hold out. They're like, I'm not telling you anything. I don't even think you have enough on me. Let's play. Let's roll the dice. And then there are people, no matter how tatted up, no matter how affiliated, it might even run in the family. They might be somebody who is third generation, but they don't want to be in prison. They don't want to be in jail. And so as soon as they have the opportunity, they tell them everything. Things they didn't even ask. You see a lot of it, you know? Then you have people who at first don't tell. Then they're ready to talk after like a couple years. You know what I mean? After a couple years, you know, have enough mold on your sandwich that you're like, it's really not worth it. Like, nobody coming to visit me. Like, no. That's what makes me wonder what must be going through Ghislaine Maxwell's mind. You know what I mean? Look, I'm no legal expert, but I do find it wild that in this supposed cabal, this supposed billionaire ring of predators, that the only one you caught is the one you're ready to make a deal with. And a deal for what? You know what I mean? Exposing more names? Bringing other people down? Probably not. Probably just being bribed to not say the president's name. You know? And look, I could be wrong. I don't think I am. Because you've already seen Trump float the idea of pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell. We even know from old tapes they thought about pardoning her way back when she got sentenced. You know? And yeah, no, I agree. I'm not a fan of it. She's not here. I'm not a fan. The boo. This is somebody's essence being booed. Like this. No, it is genuinely insane what's happening because, you know, Trump floated the pardon. He even was asked by the press if he would pardon Ghislaine Maxwell, and he goes, look, I could, but let's not talk about it right now. What an insane thing to say. You got asked a yes or no question, and you somehow answered worse than yes or no. I've never been doing a test and got a true false and put maybe. I don't know, you the teacher, you tell me. That's insane. Already floated a pardon in front of us. Maybe to gauge our reaction. Maybe if there's not enough outrage, the pardon will go ahead. And then DOJ goes, have a conversation with Ghislaine Maxwell. And already, I think it was today, just today, she's been moved from the prison and she was in to a minimum security facility somewhere else. Thought we covered this. I too hope she can feel your boos. I hope boos work like laxatives, you know. Ghislaine Maxwell just sitting in jail right now. You know, boos don't travel that fast, and so it comes in waves out of nowhere. She's having a conversation. Oh yeah, Trump and Epstein were there. Ooh. That's my hope. No idea if that's the case. But, you know, you see this sort of thing happening. It feels insane. It feels insane to watch in real time. This is the only person, the one person that got caught, the one person that's being held accountable. And everybody's so obsessed with like the idea of a list or more people or whoever they want to be on the list being on the list, that they forget that there were real people that deserve justice. And the idea that the only person that we've so far got might go free is it's unacceptable, you know? Because you see Trump floating, pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell, and I can't imagine what it must be like to be a Trump aide. Like your nose must bleed every day. It's like, yeah, I'm thinking of pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell, and the aide is like, what? I asked you what you want for breakfast. If anything, I think I am a little bit, I'm trying to figure out how to put this. I feel sorry for my friends who didn't see it coming, because they still believed in like a system, and they still believed in like laws, and they believed that jail existed for like a reason, you know? And I am, I'm black. So I kind of saw a good portion of this coming. It's like, anyone who's genuinely shocked that Ghislaine Maxwell might get a pardon and that she's already been moved to a minimum security prison after being convicted, but then talking to the DOJ under like new light. Anyone who's surprised by that has never watched the first 48 before. And they think that people aren't going to see through it. You know, this is a lot like when you're in school and you didn't do your homework, but you remembered there was homework right as the teacher says, pass up the homework. And so you fighting. You've never worked a pencil harder. You fighting to get words on a page. It doesn't even make sense what you're saying. It's you going over the whole scarlet letter as fast as you can. And then you pass it up. Teacher collects all the papers, and you think, maybe I got away with it. All we had to do was 300 words summarized in the last chapter of Scarlet Letter. I think I did it. Pulled it off. Felt like 300. Might have been 290. And then class is going on. Maybe you have to read while the teacher grades the homework, and then teacher says your name. Calls you up to the front. You're like, okay, don't panic. Maybe I did a good job so fast she's impressed. That's a possibility. And then you walk up to the front, and the teacher's like, did you do this just now? And you don't know what to do. You're caught. You're caught. She caught you. But there's another part of you that's like, maybe if I die with the lie, she'll believe me. What? Just now? No, I did this at home. And she's like, you sure? You're like, uh-oh, she's on to me. Yes, I did this at home. And then she was like, oh, okay, great, that's good news. I was worried that you did it just now, which means you wouldn't have your math homework. And then you remembered that this has been math class the entire time. That at least feels like what Trump is going through. Because if Trump was smart, he would have done all this stuff a long time ago when it could have maybe still been believable. But now, everybody sees through it. Oh, it's crazy. It's so crazy. And then On top of that, this is already insane enough. Already, there's so many ties to Donald Trump, Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein, that even a pardon just feels like it would be happening in our faces, right? There's no misunderstanding about the conflict of interest. There's no misunderstanding about what her role is if she does testify in front of Congress or whoever. And there's no misunderstanding about what the quid pro quo is between the two of them. You know what I mean? And even in that moment, on top of all that, Donald Trump floats pardoning Diddy. And it's like, that one doesn't even have anything to do with you. I don't think. Don't you have enough to deal with? That's crazy. As someone who is not in jail, I'm sweating about everybody who's about to be out of jail. This is insane. So then already the public, especially by the media, somewhat, somewhat potentially unintentional, but the media did a disservice to the public when it came to Diddy's trial, because there's a lot that we know of Diddy. There's a lot that we know that he did, that he's alleged to have done. And I think that the state put forward a remarkably bad case to try to lock Diddy up, because I think from the public's view, they see the trial and you see it through the lens that the media is selling. The media wants you to keep watching, they want you to tune in every day, and so they make it look like he's about to do 10,000 years, right? They really hype this thing up. They never really mention that all the while the trial is going on, pieces are getting dropped. Left and right, charges are getting dropped. There's things that the state is focusing on. There's things that the state is dropping. There's things that we understand that Diddy is at least allegedly done from all the documentaries that came out. You would think that Diddy was 16 OJs, the way that he had documentaries coming out about him every month. Everything Diddy ever did to anybody, they got their own documentary on Tubi, on HBO, on Hulu. Everywhere. Oh, he hung me out of a window. Like, just nonstop stories, right? But it's important to remember what he's being charged with and what he's on trial for. So then things would even come up during the trial, things that are illegal, that they were just talking about plainly, all to get to the thing he's actually being charged with. So as bad as this testimony sounds, as many things that are going on, you have to remember these are not the things he's being charged with. And I think that media got carried away. I think the news got carried away because they finally had something juicy, something big, something that they knew was going to last for days, weeks, months, that wasn't the same old stuff, something that had a bunch of intrigue in it. Apparently there's all these tapes. Apparently he has all this blackmail on all of Hollywood. There's all these things that were supposed to be coming out during the trial, you know? And then the state supposedly makes their case. They read out the verdict. Everyone is sure that this man is about to do 10 million years. And then they read the first one, not guilty. And they start reading them, and there's 5 charges, and 3 of them not guilty. The 3 that carried the most weight, the 3 that had like a minimum 15, 20 years, you know? And then there's 2 misdemeanors. Those 2 misdemeanors he is found guilty of. The people are perplexed. How is he found guilty of these things that are at least tangentially related to the other charges that he hasn't been found guilty for? What's happening, right? And those charges, the things that he was convicted of, they don't carry some mandatory minimum. You know, he could get time served. He could get up to 10 years. He could still do 20 years. But it's not likely that he'll do 20 years because that is the most extreme of cases where you give people the maximum. And I even rewatched a little bit of the reading of the verdict, and I just thought to myself, could get time served. Why would you bother pardoning him? Like, he might already be walking out of jail that day. That's such a crazy thing to do. You don't have enough going on with everybody thinking you were like on an island 152 times or whatever. To be a Trump aide, you must need heart medication because they already try to convince him, look, that looks bad if you just pardon Ghislaine out of nowhere after all this time and everything, after everything she knows and the pictures that y'all are in together, all the pictures that you're 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 in together, the other pictures that you're in together, the pictures that you're in together, all of the pictures that you're in together. Plus, she did have 19 phone numbers for you. That's not a good look either. And then Trump says, I see what you're saying. I understand. All right, look, what we're gonna do, we do best. All right, gonna run a little interference. We're gonna run a little distraction, okay? And we're also gonna pardon Sean Diddy Combs at the same time. Karen, press secretary, must be fighting demons. I can't imagine. Look, everyone, whether it's Kellyanne Conway, it's Sean Spicer, anyone who has had to represent the Trump administration, go out to the press and answer questions. Look, I understand they chose that job. I understand that they chose to be there. But to a degree, you do have to wonder what the conversation is like before they go out. When they get handed a binder, and at the last second, one of the aides says, he gonna pardon Diddy. So, no matter who it was, whether it was Sarah Huckabee Sanders, anyone who has represented the administration on the news or in the press room or anything like that, there's at least been 1 or 2 days where they had a 1,000-yard stare because they were like, how am I gonna pull this together? Because look, things came out during Diddy's trial, things that made you think, of course, this jury is gonna find this man guilty. They have to look at everything that they've heard, but you gotta remember the things he was on trial for and the things that they heard didn't always line up. There was one day of testimony that truly blew me away in that case, and that's hard to say because plenty of those days were rough to listen to. But there is one day in particular that has stuck with me in a different way than the other days. It was the day that Kid Cudi testified. Now, famously, still somehow allegedly, Diddy supposedly blew up Kid Cudi's car. You're bringing the man who has his car blown up to testify. You would think that that'd be one of the charges. I've never blown up a car in my life. But if I was brought to court to sit and hear testimony of my crimes, I would imagine the car blowing up would be one of them listed. Anyway, they bring in Kid Cudi. Kid Cudi's testifying about the timeline when he dated Cassie, things that happened between him and Diddy. And then he describes a day that is truly harrowing. Kid Cudi is testifying that while he was gone, he was actually, I believe, spending some time with Cassie, that Diddy hears about the relationship, is very upset about it, and Diddy went to and broke into Kid Cudi's house, right? So already, Diddy in your home, that's terrifying. Diddy in your home is the devil's version of Elf on the Shelf. You don't know what he gonna do. You don't know where he gonna be. Woo. So Diddy was in his home. Now, I'm a little fuzzy on this part, but apparently, I believe at least, that it was Diddy's assistant that called Kid Cudi to let him know, hey, okay, ooh, how do I tell you this? There's no good way. Diddy in your house. He is all up in your house. I mean, I drove him. He made me. He's like, where you live? And I was like, and we went over to your house. And so he's in your house. I'm not now, I'm outside. You know, he told me to wait here. I don't know what he gonna do. And so, you know, Kid Cudi rushes home. And not only is he rushing home, he actually, this is at least as I understand it, must have Diddy's number because they had a conversation. And he was like, yo, you in my house? You in my house? Bass in voice, ready to beat somebody down. You in my house? And apparently, Diddy very calmly said, yeah. Kid Cudi better than me. If it was me, I wouldn't have a home anymore. If it was me, I'd be like, all right, then you got it, then that's, I mean, if you're already there. Someone breaking and entering into your home and then calmly telling you they broke and entered into your home is more terrifying than I think y'all are giving it credit for. Because then Cudi, apparently, according to testimony, was like, I'm headed there right now, like ready to really beat this dude down, right? And then Diddy said, okay, I'll be waiting for you. I wasn't in court. I had to read all this, and I haven't read a novel by Stephen King scarier than what I read between the two of them. Kid Cudi gets home, Diddy's gone. He walks into the house. Now, that's braver than me. I would assume he's already planted a bomb somewhere. The Kid Cudi walks into the house, is looking around, assessing the damage, and while Diddy was there, he put Kid Cudi's dog in the bathroom, then opened all his Christmas presents and left. That is so insane. We are dealing with pure evil. That is so insane. Open all his Christmas presents. How is he all at once one of the most menacing figures that hip hop has ever seen and a third grade bully? How is it possible that both of these characters hold the same space in the same body? Because that is so particularly evil. He said, I walked over, Christmas presents unwrapped. I opened the bathroom door, my dog confused. And why wouldn't the dog be confused? Let's, for a moment, if you will, put yourself in the dog's paws, all right? You're a dog. You a dog. You're a dog. And you're at home, chilling, as you should be. And then the door opens. Oh, Papa? No, it's not. It's not the owner that you love. It's Sean Diddy Combs. I don't know what type of dog Cuddy has. I don't know if it's a Scooby-Doo type dog, but I imagine any dog would be like, really? And then Diddy walks over to you confidently, like he knows you. And then he puts you in the bathroom and you're like, okay, I guess that's the best possible outcome. Oh, wow, okay, oof. I thought something way worse was gonna happen. I'm not gonna lie to you. Wow, that's crazy. From what I've heard about you, the bathroom, man, I don't love it in here, but it's better than whatever you're about to do. And then Sean Diddy Combs opens all the Christmas presents and goes, well, my work is done here, and exits. This is how evil what he did is. He already messed up the call to the police. Because now you're going to call the police and have to explain to the police that the only thing that Diddy stole from you was wonder. Imagine that call to the police. You gotta call the police and tell them that Diddy, and the police are asking you very reasonable questions. They're over here like, is he still in the home? I don't know. Hopefully that would make this whole thing a bit more serious. Right now he's left it at hilarious, which is a sick thing to do. No, it's truly insane. Not even destroyed, unwrapped. I can't leave this alone until y'all recognize how dirty this is. Imagine. Lots of people here celebrate Christmas. Lots of people exchange Christmas gifts. Imagine if you came home and there just wasn't paper. And now everybody in the family either like happy or disappointed, like, oh, you got me the Theragun that all right, we're like a couple months out, so can I have it now, I guess? Truly an evil man. And Trump is floating, pardoning Diddy. Even before, this is what's odd, even before this Epstein stuff popped up, Trump had floated the idea of pardoning Diddy mid-trial. And I was like, I didn't know they went together like that. That's weird. Imagine being a white man in your 80s and your favorite rapper is Diddy. No Raekwon, no Rakim, no Run DMC, Diddy. Okay. And even then he had floated the idea of pardoning Diddy. And who knows, maybe something happened. Maybe some money exchanged hands. Maybe somebody said something to somebody and started it in motion and everything. But I can tell you this, justice system aside, the only person working hard to make sure that Diddy doesn't get a pardon. It isn't the state. No. It's not like the DA or the lead prosecutor or anything like that. The person working their hardest to make sure that Diddy does not get a pardon, that he doesn't get released back into society, is 50 Cent. $50 Cent was so excited when Diddy was arrested. There's a video. You could watch the video. It's about 8 seconds long, but it's very, very funny. And it is 50 Cent laughing in the car when I guess he heard the news that Diddy had been arrested. And this man is chuckling. The joy. The joy on this man's face. And then he's chuckling to himself and he goes, he gonna spend Christmas in jail. I've never hated anybody that much. That's so good. Oh, he gonna spend Christmas in jail. He was laughing hard. He was laughing the way that sitcoms used to make people laugh. Like, Christmas in jail. And so when 50 Cent heard that Donald Trump was floating pardon for Diddy, he went to work. He did what he does best. He trolled. 50 Cent just started posting everything bad that Diddy ever said about Donald Trump and tagging Donald Trump. This man went, is this your friend? I wouldn't do that if I was you, Mr. President. You won't believe what he said about you. No, Donald Trump, this is not one of your African Americans, okay? It's been tough. I've been trying to find, like, really, whether I'm reading or I'm watching, I've been trying to find pretty much any news story that isn't about Trump and Epstein, you know? And I came across one that genuinely shocked me in Florida. They, in Florida, the Tallahassee police arrested Chuck E. Cheese at Chuck E. Cheese. Apparently, Chucky had done some wire fraud. And so the Tallahassee police showed up to the Chuck E. Cheese, and they were ready to take him in, all right? Cuffs already out. And they arrested Chucky mid-birthday party. You couldn't wait an hour and a half? You know where he is. It's not like he's gonna get far in the costume. They arrested Chucky. Those poor kids. Imagine. Picture, if you will, being 6 years old, and you're having a birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese because the economy is not doing great. But you're having a good time, you're enjoying it, you're like, cheese pizza, so they say. Delicious yum, right? You're just trying to put on a good face. You jump into the ball pit that is not nearly deep enough.
The ball pit that is full of children under the balls because every kid thought it was the funniest thing in the world to pop up out of the balls, but that meant that the ball pit was actually a hard surface because it's made of bodies. You jump into the ball pit doing like a big old face plant thinking you're gonna slide down into the balls, and you just bang heads with another child. You get out of the ball pit concussed. Chucky offers you a flat Diet Coke. Look, there's a hierarchy to costumed mascots. Now, the most athletic are gonna go to teams. You ever been to a sports game and you see their mascot stretches before, they doing wild moves like You go to Disney, there's a lot of walking, but it's a lot of poise. It's a lot of like the stances, you know. You get somebody that's doing goofy, and they're really doing goofy. They got the, you know. Chucky. Chucky, as far as like costumed mascots go, Chucky doing a lot of the same. Trying to figure out how to put this. Chucky, the qualifications to be Chucky at Chuck E. Cheese are a lot like the qualifications to work at a Waffle House, okay? You're gonna get in the costume, they're gonna tell you do your best, all right? Do your absolute best, and if somebody swing at you, you can swing back after they hit you the first time. That you gotta let them get that first hit in. If you hit first, that's assault, all right? And you'll be fired. But look, if they put hands on you first, then hey, you gotta get it how you live and go ahead and swing on them. So imagine you're surprised when at your 6th-year birthday party, you're celebrating 6 years on this planet, and it hasn't been a great 6. You're a little too young to like remember COVID, but you know mom and dad are weird. You clapping with your friends. And Chucky's doing his thing, trying to like find the beat. And you're like, I think he doing something. I can't tell. And then the Tallahassee police walk in. And they cuff Chucky right there in front of you for wire fraud. Y'all couldn't wait. You know where he works. He wasn't gonna get away. No, we gotta cuff him right now in front of the children. Traumatize them. Nah, forget these kids. We gotta dish out justice real quick. Now the kids distraught. They over. You know that? Okay, all right. I'm sorry. It's funny because it's like I can see the kids being like, what'd he do? What'd he do?
You know that rumble in the throat when you really cry? There's a certain way you can cry when you're 6 that you never cry again. Like, this is like honestly, a 6-year-old will drop an ice cream and they'll be like, just mixing Disney voices, half Ursula, half Jafar. What'd he do? Let him go, he ain't did nothing. Kids out here vouching for him. He was here the whole time. Because you know that. You know, like when a kid cry long enough, they start coughing. When a kid get real upset and they full of mediocre pizza. Yo, free Chucky! Yo, free Chucky! No. Now you getting arrested at Chuck E. Cheese, they perp walking you slow just to embarrass you. Y'all really couldn't wait till he got out the costume too, because you know he can't walk fast with those feet. He still got the costume feet on and everything. So now they over here. They get Chucky outside, slam him up against that car. Boom. Patting Chucky down. Why you need to pat Chucky down? That would be wild though. Chucky had like a full-on Glock on him, like this. That would be crazy. If Chucky he doesn't care where he is. He could be at Chuck E. Cheese. He could be in the streets. He keep that thing on him. The thing that I think would have been probably the toughest for the police, because I personally read about this, I didn't see video, so I don't know if this happened or not, but it would be hard. It'd be very difficult to, open up that car door, and when they walked him out, they did it in full costume, like the head was still on. Like, that's crazy. This is a personal vendetta now that you have with Charles Entertainment Cheese. That you couldn't at least take the head off in Chuck E. Cheese. Imagine they take the head. I mean, I'm sure the kids would have been more upset. Just, oh! Chucky Black! I could have sworn. Anyway. Look, there's not full video that I saw. This is all what I've read, but it's gonna be hard to put your hand on the back of Chucky's head and get him in the car without it looking like police brutality. Because it's not gonna fit. The head is too big. So now you over here, watch your head. Kids at the glass of the door. You know how Chuck E. Cheese built. They at the glass like, no. They beating up Chucky. Police like, no, I'm trying to get the head in. No, he won't fit. He can't even feel it like that. No, don't do that. Everybody start recording. Look what they doing to Chucky, y'all. And they take you down to the police station. Perp walking you. Downtown. Imagine if you got arrested that day. For possession of illicit substances. You know, it could be anything. It could be acid, it could be shrooms, it could be anything. And you got arrested for possession. You're not a dealer. They caught you doing essentially a victimless crime, trying to enjoy yourself, enjoy your Saturday. Maybe you don't have your life together. Maybe you're not invited to your kid's birthday party. And you get arrested, you're sitting downtown, waiting to be processed, and then Ayo. I know I got a right to remain silent. I know this may hurt me in court. But did a giant mouse just walk through here fully arrested? Oh, thank goodness. I thought I was still very high from drugs. It's insanity, you know what I mean? Now you gotta do everything. How you gonna take Chucky fingerprints? These aren't even functional. I don't know if they feet or hands, but they're not. Mug shot too. Those mug shots are cold. They're just like, ready, face me. Turn. Turn. No. Now you gotta sit in holding. Imagine all you did was get a little drunk. Maybe you get into a fight at a bar, you sitting in the drunk tank, and the only other is Chucky a person? Nobody else in there but you and Chuck E. Cheese. And whether it's jail or a birthday, they never really gave, at least that I know of, Chucky a voice. Chucky was always silent. At every birthday party I had at Chuck E. Cheese, Chucky was silent. You know, do the... Imagine you sitting there with Chuck E. Cheese in jail. You're wondering how your life took this turn. You look over at Chucky, and Chucky mad. Chucky like, you know, I thought I had that wire fraud on lock. I'm wondering who snitched. I'm wondering what went wrong, yeah? You look over at Chucky, and Chucky's like, what you looking at, dog? You got a problem? But all you see is... Yo, you want to step? I'm just saying that in this like kangaroo circus of a court and justice system where we know the government is playing in our face, playing with really dangerous people who have done terrible things. If you're gonna pardon Ghislaine Maxwell, if you're gonna pardon Diddy, then at least yo, free Chucky, all right? Denver, y'all been phenomenal. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all.
This is a beautiful, beautiful time of year. This is my favorite time of year because it's so fresh. I could do anything. I could really be anybody so far, you know? And by January 10th, I'm like, I'm me. Never mind, I had a lot of plans, but a week and a half. It's so early in the year, it's almost weird if you've already had a bad day. You know what I mean? But this is New York, so you know somebody has. I was on a bus on January 2nd and just heard a guy go, fuck, just to himself. I don't know what was going on in his life. But January 2nd, he was like, it's over. That's a wrap. Oh, it's crazy. I also love this time of year because it's the last little bit of runoff where you're still trying to return Christmas presents. Like the bad ones. Like you on the phone with customer service, like, no, I have the receipt, please. Like it's... And this is the thing, a lot of people give gifts and everything, but they don't know if they gave a good gift to the person, especially if they don't know them well, right? And my thing is, this is how you tell if it's a good gift in this present day we live in. If you didn't get a gift for someone from a store that was looted in 2020, that's not a good gift, I'm not gonna lie. Do you know what I mean? It's a very easy metric now. Because, look, I'm just saying, everything's free when we looting. And there are brands that know that they didn't get touched. Like, honestly, if I was a shop owner, I would be embarrassed if I showed up the morning after a riot and I get to my store, Nike store ransacked, Louis Vuitton store unrecognizable, and then my store pristine, not even... broken glass. I'd be like, I gotta hang it up. I didn't know it would be like this. Can I burn it down and say it was part of the riot? Cause this is a shame. I remember that was a very specific time. This is my favorite thing about any riot that happened in the U.S. in 2020. There were some stores that boarded up that really didn't need to bother. Like. Nobody talks about that, but there are a couple places that were like, oh, we gotta batten down the hatches. Like, no, you really don't, I promise. Nobody is checking for you, okay? There were brands that were feeling themselves. Like, I don't know if you remember this, but you can look this up. This is a real thing that happened. In 2020, during the protests, there were Sweet Greens that boarded up in preparation. Sweet Green. I want to meet the person who made the decision. I want to meet the person who was like, all right, it might get crazy out here in Seattle. And you know it when it gets crazy. You know what niggas love is arugula. So we got to hold it down, all right? Got to protect the inventory, okay? Oh, no, you don't need to bother. You know, I said all that to say if you got me a Christmas present this year, a gift card from Sweet Green, you fucked up. That wasn't the move. Bought me grass. Have y'all been watching that Squid Game show? Okay, if you haven't watched it, then genuinely, I'm begging you, don't watch it. Okay, if you don't know what Squid Game is as a show, Squid Game, the show is a Korean drama. All right, it's probably one of the best TV shows that we have that fully encapsulates the idea of capitalism and what we do to each other when we're lacking, when we have need, and when there's literal money floating over our heads, the links that will go, right? And even the show becoming a show is a Cinderella story because the guy that wrote it, he pitched it around the world for 10 years and nobody wanted it. Finally, Netflix bought it. They put it up on their platform. It became an international sensation. There's games, there's toys, there's everything. And then they made the game show, which is weird. That's pretty odd, because that means they also watched the show and they saw what a commentary was on the human psyche when it comes to money, when it comes to access and everything. And then they were like, yeah. We should do that. Yes, we should do that. Let's round up these pores and make them battle it out. We'll get 400 of the saddest stories you've ever heard in your fucking life. It's insane. And this is the other reason that I'm begging you not to watch it, okay? In the show Squid Game, the Korean drama, when you lose, you die. In the game show, when you lose, a pack goes off. It explodes on you, and it's black. It's not red. It's ink. Squid Game, very clever. And it explodes, but they still make the people fall like they died. And it feels like they test running killing a person in front of us. Do you know what I mean? Because when I was watching the show, the first person lost and then they fell. And I was like, that's a little dramatic. All right. And then 12 more people fell. And I was like, wait, are they really killing people on my TV right now? Because if they are, I don't know what I'm going to do about that. Because they already shot the show and I'm at home. But can we make sure that for season 2, they don't kill anybody? Because I'm going to finish the show. It's compelling. But it's just a weird thing. I don't know. It's very unsettling because they make all these people tell the saddest parts of their life and they cut to them in the show and you know they're not going to win. Why are you telling me this is a physical American Idol? Why are you telling me the sad story and you know they're not going to get far? That's terrible. It would be a dude with the biggest tearjerker you could ever imagine. He's like, I'm just want to bring money back home for my cousin. He's got cancer herpes and he doesn't have a real house. He got half a house. So I want to pay for him to finish his house because he get rained on anytime it rains sideways a little bit. And so I just want to have a full roof for him to be under, not half a roof, because he really got like half an umbrella over his head right now. And so I just want to do something nice for him because he donated a bunch of his bones to orphans. And so he already didn't have a good life to begin with. And then they zoom out of the person playing the game and you see he's the shortest man that's ever lived. You're like, he's not gonna get far at all. Physical limitations alone. Why are you getting me attached to his story? Or even worse, they'll interview like a smart woman and you'll be like, they not gonna let her get far at all. She gonna slip up and say a big word in front of him and the dumbs are gonna jump on her. She gonna say one of those encyclopedia words and be like, get her out. She look like she can do puzzles. No, so jarring. Are y'all also following this Gypsy Rose thing? Okay. In case you don't know anything about Gypsy Rose, I'll try to bring you up to speed as quickly as possible. Gypsy Rose is a young woman, used to be girl. She was a girl when all this happened. Her mom has Munchausen by proxy, so her mom convinced her she was sick, convinced everyone else she was sick, told people she was sick, raised money for her because she was so sick. So she was like GoFundMe before GoFundMe, right? And so she was like raising all this money and everything. Then Gypsy realizes, hey, I'm not as sick as you're making me out to be. Around the same time that this happens, right? She makes a friend online. They start dating. That becomes her boyfriend, okay? And then she tells her boyfriend, you need to kill my mom so we can be together. I was not in the room when this conversation happened. But the way that I think it went was Gypsy gets close to this person and is like, you're going to have to kill my mom so we can be together. And then he said, I was planning on killing somebody anyway. Because it took so little convincing. This man is clearly out of his mind, right? Killing a mom should be several conversations. You should have to wear me down to kill your mom. If you tell someone, I need you to kill my mom so we can be together, and they go, yup, you are also in danger. That is absolute insanity. He said yes so quick That's the reddest flag there is. He said it so quick. Once again, I was not in the room, but he agreed to it so fast. I'm pretty sure he finished her sentence. I'm pretty sure she was like, hey, I need you to. He's like, kill your mama, I got it. And she was like, I was gonna say pass the remote, but okay. And so then that's what happens. They meet up, and then he kills the mom, and then they get caught immediately. They get caught so fast. I was genuinely disappointed in them. I was like, you couldn't make it a day. You got caught. They got caught so insanely quickly. And so then they're not together anymore because then they flipped on each other and everything. And it's hard to stay together when you first 48'd each other. Like, where you just immediately like, it was his crazy ass. I said it at once and he did it. And so then Gypsy got way less time than him and she got out. She's out now. She got like 7 years. He got life because I'm pretty sure she only had to remind him once. I'm pretty sure she only had to be like, hey, that thing about killing your mama, yeah, it's on my calendar. All right. And look, I'm just saying, the main thing that they did wrong, besides killing a person, the main thing that they did wrong is that they didn't really understand the internet the way we don't really understand the internet. So all they did was have the most incriminating conversations online, right? I'm pretty sure they Skyped at one point. I was like, can you stop doing recordable stuff? And so then she gets out, and I saw like a TikTok of her, wishing everybody well, thanking everyone for wishing her well and everything, saying Happy New Year's. And then she said something interesting to me. She was like, I'm spending New Year's with my dad, my stepmom, and my husband. I was like, husband? And I was just shocked. I didn't know she had a husband. So I looked into it, and she had met somebody, and they got married in 2022. And I looked him up. Have y'all seen the husband? Yeah. Y'all seen? Okay. That man looks more like the Kevin James meme than Kevin James. I was genuinely blown away. There's a picture of him with Gypsy Rose where he's like, and it's not even a diss. That's just his swag, is that like cheeky, everything. And then apparently some people were coming for him online for some weird reason. I have no idea. And then Gypsy came to his defense and she was like, it's okay, baby. They're just jealous because the D is fire. You know what? I'm glad you had a happy ending. I'm glad you're okay.
When I